Hello, welcome back to Our Cricket Podcast with myself, Dan, and Joe Gardner. We are here today to talk to you about cricket because it is our cricket podcast, and it would be weird if we didn't speak about cricket. If you're enjoying it, leave us a review on things or drop us a like on YouTube, subscribe, follow, all those good things. Go and follow us on TikTok as well. That's doing some things. And Joe, how are you? We're going to talk about the 100. You're fresh out of, well, I say fresh might be the wrong choice of words, but you're out of the 100.
Out of the 100, yeah, like I've crawled out of the wilderness or something like that. I mean, if you'd have asked me that a couple of days ago, that would have definitely been the way I'd describe it. But nah, I'm all good. Yeah, obviously had a pretty fun time at the Oval Invincible. Disappointed to get eliminated in the eliminator. Obviously losing out on Saturday to the eventual champions London Spirit, but I was really happy for them because obviously got quite a strong Sunrisers contingent playing for the Spirit, and it was really good to see those guys go on and lift the trophy. But yeah, it wasn't quite to be, but another really good tournament for the women's game, and yeah, just a pleasure to be a part of, really.
Yeah, I think a pleasure to be a part of it. How do you look back on your own personal kind of game during? I know we're going pretty deep, pretty hard here, aren't we? We're not even 90 seconds into the podcast, and I've just gone, go on then. What do you think about yourself? Talk to me about your own personal bits and bobs in the 100.
Yeah, I guess it was a bit of a funny one. Like, I was probably aiming to try and hammer down a kind of role at 6, 7, 8, similar to sort of what I had at Trent Rockets last year. But you know, the team's obviously so stacked, so I was always aware that it was going to be a bit of a battle. In order to try and do that, I only actually batted 3 times in the comp. Didn't face that many balls, but I feel like, I don't know, had I been given a bit more opportunity, then it might have been a little bit different. But it's hard to try and, I guess it's hard to try and like properly dissect with like a microscope when you have literally only faced 20 balls and batted 3 times across the whole comp. Like, fielding was a bit weird actually, because I didn't have a single like catching opportunity when I was in the field.
Really?
Yeah. And my track history in the 100 is I'll catch some and I'll shell some. But this year I literally didn't have to do anything. I dived over a couple times, but everyone's got that in them, haven't they? So yeah, it's kind of a weird one to try and actually deeply reflect on my performance, because no, I didn't bowl. I tell you what, I did some great net bowling.
Okay, good.
Working on some lovely T20 variations, 100 variations. So, I mean, that was good. Because also, sometimes, like, I was also very aware that I wouldn't bowl, which was fine. Okay. Like, I'd managed my expectations going into that. But at the same time, you know, you've got to keep practicing your bowling in the net. So you've got to, like, sounds weird, but like, keep yourself motivated to still want to learn a few tricks of the trade or whatever it is. So yeah, we'd have fun in our bowling sessions. Like right, you've got to bowl this delivery, and you can't move on to bowling another delivery until you've executed this in how many times in a row, sort of thing. So like, that was fun. But yeah, like I say, it's hard to try and like microscopically reflect and pick apart my personal performances.
Yeah.
When I haven't actually done that much to try and analyse. I feel like that could, don't know, if you're getting a bit too deep, could probably just overanalyse and then go back to the sunnies feeling a bit, I don't know, underwhelmed. But I'm ready for it. I'm ready for these last 4 games.
Yeah, I guess although it's such a short kind of competition, because it was even shorter this year, wasn't it, than previous years? Whether there was less games or not, I don't know, but it was like crammed into a shorter window. That over a short season with a fewer amount of games, I guess your opportunities to kind of be effective, I guess, are naturally limited by the fact that you're kind of top and tailed earlier. And there will be a lot of cricketers in there that never made it through to that eliminator and would have had one less game as an opportunity to do so anyway. So we're not talking like a Premier League season here where you've played 38 games and you've kind of had opportunities to do X, Y, and Z. I guess that is, it does make it more complicated. The fact that obviously the teams are almost saturated with overseas, I think that's an interesting kind of topic point as to see how that grows going forward, as to whether the number of the overseas continues to stay where it is in the women's game, or whether they look to reduce that or not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. What would have been your three highlights? And one of them as well. I want it just to be a little bit rogue, just something that's not like it was just great to play at Lords, wasn't it? And we had a lovely lunch, and like I need to know a little bit behind the scenes.
Okay, first highlight: Maddie's catch at Trent Bridge.
Yeah, great
That
shot, by the way.
was unbelievable. Like, I was fielding at fine leg. So Bryony Smith is on strike. I'm fielding at fine leg. Maddie's at mid wicket. Bryony plinks this one. Marizanne Kapp's bowling. A bit into the pitch, little bit of a way swing. Bryony Smith goes to pull it. Mid wicket. I see Maddie dive through the air. I thought, surely she's not going to get this. But then instantly in my head, I was like, if anyone's going to get it, Maddie's going to get it. Next news, she's on the floor, one-handed, looking at her hand like, as if I've just caught this. I was like gobsmacked, sprinting. It's probably the quickest I've ran in the whole tournament, to be honest. Like, to just go and congratulate her. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we had them 3 for 3 or whatever it was at some point, and that was a must-win game for us. So yeah, that game at Trent Bridge was pretty cool. Another highlight, I think, probably just like the dressing room in general, how everyone got on. It was very harmonious.
Is that rare?
I feel like it is quite rare. Like, sometimes you'll be in a changing room and there are just like natural little cliques that happen. It's not a bad thing. It's just what happens when there's 16, 17 of you in a dressing room. Like, not everyone is gonna get on with everyone. Like, you play together, but you don't have to be best mates.
Yeah.
Whereas in this changing room, it felt like you could sit down and have a coffee or have a chat to anyone in that dressing room, which, yeah, it felt quite rare for me. So that was definitely a highlight, and it's probably the most fun and the best time that I've had in the 100 over the course of 4 years. So that's why I'm a little bit sad this week. But another highlight, another rogue highlight. It's a good one.
Rogue might be the wrong word, but similar to what you kind of ask a few people when they come on as a guest, like something that people aren't just going to know, they're not going to assume, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like something that happened on the bus or something, like just a bit random. I mean, yeah, that was a highlight. So it wasn't that well documented on social media, but after the eliminator, I went back. I'd seen my family for a bit, popped back up to the change rooms, went back into the change rooms, and I saw that everyone in people getting their shirt signed and everything, as you would do at the end of the comp, like nice little memento to take away. And then I saw someone had got the helmet signed with a silver Sharpie, and I thought, this looks absolutely fantastic. Like, this is such a vibe. And then everyone, majority of people all just got their helmets, put them on, because we worked out that it was actually easier to sign when you're actually wearing the helmet. So everyone was just signing these helmets. It was hilarious. We wore them for the entire bus journey back to the hotel on Saturday night. We were doing karaoke on the bus, trying to drink the odd bottle of beer, whatever it was, through the helmet, which was an interesting challenge. I think I must have spilt my drink about 3 different times over Mars and nothing over me, and she was absolutely livid with me. But that was also a highlight that's probably slightly off grid.
Yeah.
But you got to send off the competition and the team in style, haven't you, I guess?
Yeah, of course. And I guess you're quite relieved to be home for a bit, because you've been... Did you manage to get home during the competition at all? Or was it literally a case of living out of a suitcase and a kit bag, hotel to hotel how long was it? Was it 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks?
It was a month.
A month, was it?
It was a month, yeah, just over a month. Yeah, so I didn't manage to get back at all. So it was pretty much, just driving up and down the country, hotel to hotel, with however many bags I unnecessarily decided to take, including my golf clubs, which did not get used. So yeah, they're still carrying a lot of dust. which is a shame. It's nice to be back, and when I came back on Monday, it was really nice to just like cook.
Yeah,
Sounds really
okay.
strange, but
Yeah.
like it's just eating, like someone's either putting on food for you, which I'm not complaining at, because at the grounds obviously the food's really good and you feel like you're getting a good meal in. But then when you're having just like eating out or delivery or whatever it is, it can just get a little bit much. But it's all part of the experience, I think. Like it happens for a month in the year, and then it feels like you're in this complete bubble and whirlwind. Like we like a few of the girls we were speaking about how it's just like a bit of an alternate reality, and then come back home and you're like, right,
Mm.
let's crack on back to regional cricket. Like this is the real world sort of thing. Which sounds kind of weird to say. I don't know what any of the men's players' views would have to be on kind of
Yeah.
their experience of the 100, but I know that's how a lot of us feel in the women's game.
I guess like I guess it probably is so different between the men's and the women's game because because of the structure of the white ball kind of world that the men have compared to the women right now. I know Amanda Jade Wellington, who we spoke to last episode. I think she's landed straight in Barbados, and that she's probably one of the few examples that kind of goes tournament to tournament around the world. But that said, there's still going to be some massive gaps in the calendar for her, and there aren't these kind of weird and rogue kind of random pop-up T10
In the Cayman
T60
Islands.
exactly. But this is the thing though, like there's so much white ball cricket going on right now in the men's game that actually living hotel suitcase to suitcase etc for a bloke in the 100 probably isn't a novelty anymore. It probably isn't like oh, this is fun, this is nice, we get to there's it's possibly a part of, oh, for Christ's sake, like I've got another 3 weeks away from home type thing. And those potentially, I don't think there are any players that have gone. Oh no, there might be actually. I think that Josh Little might have played in the 100 and might be over in the Cayman Islands. But I think you could probably fill your calendar up if you were a kind of a white ball biffer or whatever, with just going around the world and just playing in these random different tournaments. And there's probably more than what we ever see. There's got to be more than just this kind of grand Cayman Super 10 smash, whatever the bloody hell it's called. But yeah, I don't know. Would you be hungry for more? Like if the women's game was structured slightly or more similar to the men's game, would you be quite happy? Would you be quite keen to kind of just give yourself a day of a laundry and then head back to Heathrow or something and fly off somewhere else for another 3 weeks and then do the same again? Or are you you're quite grateful to be home after a month away?
No, I am grateful to be home. Of course, it's obviously nice to be back around the family and everything like that. But if suddenly the opportunity did present itself in the women's game, I don't think that I would. I think I'd probably struggle to turn it down, knowing that, like as we've spoken about before, kind of how short our careers are, and
Mm,
trying to get as much out of yourself and like you as an athlete as you can, especially while you're feeling pretty like fit and healthy, if that makes sense, because you never know when an injury or whatever might be around the corner, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden your options are completely limited. So it's there are multiple pros and cons to what I imagine can be a bit of a fleeting cricketing lifestyle for some of these guys that you see in these different competitions. But ultimately, I'm sure, like I'm sure the money definitely comes into it. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I don't know. From my point of view, I'm like, I don't blame them too much, because, like I say, they've got to try and get as much out of their career as possible. It can look a bit mercenary potentially at times, but if they're fit and healthy and can get themselves through multiple different tournaments in the year, then fair play, because others are not so lucky in that sense and are
Mm.
always battling rehab or whatever it is.
Is there any talk behind the scenes of like more female franchise competitions popping up around the world? Like, are there rumors? Are there kind of exclusives that you want to share right now, or is it literally like a ghost town in comparison to the men's game?
I think in comparison to the men's game, it probably is a
Mm.
little bit of a ghost town. But we've had some like PCA meetings and stuff where they've said that they're kind of expecting the women's franchise game around the world to grow. How quickly that actually happens is a different kettle of fish and not something that I'm privy to from an information perspective. But I'd be surprised if in the next 3-4 years there weren't other competitions that domestic women's players are going off to be playing in when they haven't necessarily played any international cricket, much like the men's game. So I guess that's just a bit of a watch this space and just kind of seeing how the game evolves and grows. And see, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the 100 as well next year, with the potentials for the private investment and what that all looks like, because it feels like it's out there to be bought now, isn't it? So
yeah,
who knows?
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I can't help but feel that if a lot of private investment came in, I don't know who would then kind of hold the controlling stake in it, and whether that kind of 100 brand would continue to exist or not. It doesn't. There's no way of kind of describing it other than the fact that like this format of cricket fits nowhere else around the world. That's just the reality of the situation. That's not to say that I think it's crap. It's not to say I think it's brilliant. Just the fact that in 4 years of it being played, other than kind of a few club games that I've heard of as a bit of a novelty experiment type thing, nobody's adopted it. It hasn't been picked up. And if that investment comes in from leagues and team owners that have T20 franchises around the world, are they going to be interested in keeping it at 100 balls? I don't know. Is that novelty of making sure that the family can get back at a sensible time, or so that the BBC can put the news on at 10 o'clock? Is it an issue anymore? Or does that TV audience change because all of a sudden the views come from somewhere else in the world where that owner currently resides? It is going to be interesting. Are they prepared as well? And I don't know what you think about it. I know obviously you've been heavily involved as a player for the last 4 years, but as a fan, when it's been a case of well, it's okay because 100 isn't for people that like cricket anyway. If that private investment comes in, do they look at existing cricket fans and go, actually, that's quite a big market we've not really tried to tap into? Like, do we actually kind of change the graphics on the screen so that a cricket fan kind of has something that they're used to seeing? Do they provide alternatives? Do they suddenly go, oh, actually, we're really sorry about that. Would you like to come and watch cricket with us type thing? I don't know. It is going to be so interesting to see what they choose to do, if they even choose to go down that route. I think they'll have to, because I mean, there's no money in. Well, there's loads of money in the UK, but the UK isn't interested in cricket. Let's be completely frank about it, as a whole. So if they have to go to what's going to be India and get the owners of Mumbai and KKR and Chennai, etc., to come to the UK and buy stakes in teams and franchises, yeah, fine, do it. But I also feel that whatever they do, that money's got to go back into grassroots cricket, Joe. It can't just kind of be left at the top to kind of let the rich get richer.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I feel like sometimes that part of the messaging around this private investment does get lost a little bit, in that there might be traditional cricket supporters that feel like their clubs or whatever are going to not survive if the 100 is around or whatever. But actually, I feel as though if this private investment does come in the way that it's obviously been bandied about for the past year to 18 months, then it could actually boost the game on again a bit and almost give it another new lease of life, because in theory there should be money going back into the clubs, even the ones that aren't involved. They're set to get a percentage of the private investment and whatever, which is obviously more than what they would currently be getting from the competition. So yeah, and you hope that would then feed down and ensure that ultimately it's inspiring and helping more people get out and play the game.
Yeah, you would hope so. I think the next 6 months, I think 12 months are going to be really interesting for so many different things as well. I mean, I think the number of people playing club cricket, I think, is probably going down. I think that obviously that battle between the 100 and the other, and the Blast, the One Day Cup, the counties that are struggling right now, like your end of regional cricket to become county cricket is a massive unknown still, relatively. Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to see what cricket actually looks like on several levels, I think, in 2025 throughout the UK. But we shall see. I mean, yeah, why not? Just get on with it. I'm sure they'll make some great decisions up in some offices somewhere, and then we'll just all have to kind of carry along with it, and we probably won't speak to the people that are actually engaged with it in whatever part that they're engaged with. So good for them. Take the money, see what happens, and you might be playing for MI. No, hang on. What would it be? I don't even know what it would be called. M Oval Moval Indie Invincible. I don't know. That needs some work, doesn't it?
Oval Super Kings.
Could be that. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
On the topic of grassroots cricket, Dan, and club cricket, what's been going on at Eastgate recently? I think we need a little update.
Well, it's all very exciting, and I've kind of let it go quietly under the radar. But with 3 games to go in the league, Eastergate currently sit top, 69 points clear of second place, with a possible 90 points left to play for. So if Eastergate pick up the big victory on Saturday, Eastergate are Division 7 champions in 2024, which would be pretty cool. Be nice to kind of get out of that league in probably the 3rd or 4th time of asking. And hopefully try and reduce some of those Crawley teams in the league as well. Not because they're bad people, but because it's an hour's drive away, and I don't want to keep doing that every Saturday. So that would be good. And it's going okay. It's going well. We've lost twice all year, one of which I wasn't involved with. So technically I've only lost once, but it's not my fault. And then as well, Bank Holiday Monday at Horsham Cricket Club, we have got so basically we have like a Sussex Slam competition. I'm sure there's like various kind of things similar to that all around the country. And I think there's a Surrey Slam. I think there was I saw something the other day called like a Wiltshire Wallop or something. And there's some great names. But anyway, it's finals day on Monday. So we got the semi-final at Horsham Cricket Club. 11 o'clock in the morning, I think, maybe somewhere around there. I think we might have the first game or the first innings of the second. I don't know how they do it. But anyway, we could do the double. League and Slam double for the Eastergate. And that would be really cool. Like, I don't know what that really means. I remember we won the league once before. I think there was a trophy presentation at the end of the season in the boundary rooms at Hove, which you had to pay to go to, obviously. And I don't think any of the players got any medals or anything like that from it. So it was a big deal, as you can imagine. Really, really made a big fuss about it. But hopefully, yeah, it would be. Well, firstly, it would be great, and hopefully there would be something for players to kind of remember it and have a good celebration about as well. Because that's one thing I will say, like when you, and it wouldn't be that, but when you see like the Invincibles and the Spirit team on the outfield at Lords on that Sunday night, and there's fireworks, and I watched Danny Gibson's kind of behind the scenes vlog the other day, and obviously they're all kind of in there with medals on and lifting trophies up and celebrating with one another. That makes such a huge difference, I think, to whatever level of sport you play and whatever sport you play, to have a moment to celebrate. And it should be recognised. Whether it is this year or not, I don't know, but it should be.
Well, it sounds like it could be a little bit of a big bank holiday weekend for you to remember. It's got the potential to be.
Yeah, Tuesday could be a struggle.
Yeah, don't plan anything in your diary for next Tuesday, please. I feel like that would be a silly thing to do. In order for you to, hopefully have the celebrations that you clearly all deserve in getting yourself into the finals of the T20, and also in a position to win the league with however many weekends there are still left to go.
Yeah, it would be good. I don't feel I've kind of, it's been frustrating for me, Joe, as an individual. I've had some scores.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I've had some scores. I think I've got like 2 or 3 47s this year.
Job like, avoidance.
Yeah, no, it's been expensive. 30s, 20s. And like I've got in and I haven't been able to go on. And that's been a little bit frustrating. Some of them have been. I can caveat it like a little bit with the fact that like it was the end of the innings and you had to kind of put your foot down and try and go as quick as you possibly could. But there have been some moments where I've kind of got in and then left too much to do for people behind me. One of which we went on to lose, which again, like as you can imagine, as a team player, you feel pretty shit afterwards. You're like I batted time there. I was in and I gave it away. Fortunately, the game last weekend or the weekend before that, I got out for 47. Annoyingly, again, needed probably 100 to win, I think, from about 18, 17 overs, maybe less. But we did go on to win that game. So actually 47 at that point felt quite important, but still gutted to kind of sit there on the sidelines, kind of leaving the work left over to your mate when you've kind of done the hard work. But there's time.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about it. Obviously, it sounds like you've had quite a few starts, you've got yourself in, and not massively converted how you would have liked. Now, do you find that more frustrating than not getting in at all and getting single-digit scores?
I'd say no, because it's still contributing towards the team. And those kind of 20s, 30s, 40s, or whatever are still a much bigger and better contribution than nothing. But I do know where you're coming from with that question, because cricket's such an individual sport, isn't it? Yes, I know we play in a team, and I've said, and I think you've said as well, that the team should always come first. But actually, from an individual perspective, why waste your time like getting sweaty and getting tired and achy, batting for 2 hours and getting yourself in or something, and then just throwing it away when you could just miss a straight one first up and go back down, sit down, and just chill out for the rest of the afternoon. So I do know where you're coming from with that question.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just it can be frustrating, can't it? When like you say, you feel like you've got yourself in, you've done the hard work, and then for whatever reason you end up in the shed, and then you've got to watch on, knowing that it could have been you, especially in a run chase, that it could have been you seeing your team across the line. But I mean, you've only lost one game when you've been playing, so I feel like those contributions have been very valid and very helpful.
Hopefully they continue over the weekend. And next episode, I'll be sat here with a trophy and medals and fireworks in the background and all sorts going on. Likely what will happen is I'll get a text message from someone to say, do you want to come to the end of season awards? It's £35 for a 2-course meal down at Hove. That's probably what's more likely to happen, Joe.
£35? That sounds cheap.
It does sound cheap. I might have under-egged it, to be fair. I might have under-egged it. But no, at the end of the day, like, it'll be great. And hopefully we can get the job done. I see I'm not very good at these kind of talking about cricket things. But fingers crossed. It'd be nice to win the T20 stuff. I think the league we need 22 points from a possible 90. Which, bearing in mind having lost twice all year, you'd hope that a team that had done that would be able to go on and at least win one more game of cricket. But I love T20 cricket. T20 cricket's like so much fun. I would play T20 cricket every day if I could, because I absolutely love it. And if we were successful on Monday, that I think would mean more than a league. Does that make sense? They should mean the same, nice. But I love it. I love T20 cricket. It's great.
You want to be a franchise legend, don't you?
I have offered so many times to sign a pink ball only contract at Eastergate, but they're not taking it.
Love it.
Maybe. You never know. Right, should we talk about proper cricket?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's a good time.
Yeah, have you kept up much on the news about the England-Sri Lanka Test Series whilst you've been gallivanting around London, visiting every coffee shop in town? And kind of felt like all I saw professional cricketers do during the hundreds was go and get frozen yogurt as well, or yogurt, as Amanda Jade Wellington pronounced it the other day. That's like yogurt, really? It's just yogurt.
Yeah, I know. The way that these Aussies say things sometimes, like pasta.
Strange.
And yogurt. Yeah, they're different eggs then. I actually didn't have any frozen yogurt.
Did you not?
Contrary to popular opinion. I'm more of a gelato girl. Love a little pistachio gelato, yeah. Goes down
that's just like posh for ice cream, right?
Yeah, it's better than ice cream though.
Is there a difference?
I genuinely did type in the difference between gelato and ice cream on Google once, and
hit me.
It's like something to do with the way that it's like churn, gelato is actually meant to be better for you than ice cream because of it's
Right.
got less sugar in it or something
Hmm.
like that. It's more cream based than sugar based. The type of scoop that they use when they're like serving it in your cone. So like gelato is apparently meant to use like a flat based spoon or scoop, whereas
Mm.
like ice cream's more of like the cookie dough cup circular
Okay.
scoop.
Right.
It's fascinating. I know.
It's yeah, pretty gripping.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yes. No.
gripping.
I have seen back to the cricket. Obviously, Ben Stokes got injured, didn't he, in the 100 for the Northern
Yeah, the 100
Superchargers?
killed Ben
So
Stokes.
we're going to see a New England captain this morning in Ollie Pope.
Yeah. Is it today it starts?
Yeah, it's in like 19 minutes.
That's how much I followed it. I thought it was I just assumed it would start on Thursday. No, it is today. It is today. Yeah, the 100 killed Ben Stokes. He blew a hamstring, didn't he? Which kind of did nothing for the conspiracy theorists as to who should be playing it and when they should be playing it and what time they should be doing it and anything like that. But that could have happened at any point. Not that he had a particularly great 100, did he? I don't think he got off the mark particularly. But it was good. It was good to get him involved, and that was nice. But it has basically caused him to be legless right now. So yeah, we have Ollie Pope. Ollie Pope is the man in charge. He was the vice captain, so it was only really ever going to be Ollie Pope to take over. And he's kind of continued to kind of fly that Stokes and McCullum flag, isn't he? He's just said, well, nothing's going to change. We're just going to play the exact same way. Which is what I expected him to say anyway. I didn't suddenly think that he was going to suddenly turn up and go, no, this is no. This is my ship now, lads, and we're digging in. We are digging in. Like, he was never going to do it, was he? Like, he's a Bazball baby.
Oh, Basbil baby. Yeah, no, he absolutely is. And I think I said before the West Indies series that I felt like Pope was going to have a good summer in with the Test match whites on. So hopefully the captaincy can help him dominate against Sri Lanka in this series. I think that would be good. And as well as Ollie Pope's captaincy, got a new opening batter because Zach Crawley's boffed his finger up as well. So Dan Lawrence is finally got his way into a Bazball 11 after his last appearance in a Test match came in that horrid time in the West Indies a couple of years ago. So he's coming in at the top of the order for Zach Crawley. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes opening the batting. I don't think he's done it that much in first class cricket from my knowledge, but
I remember there was a game earlier this summer that Surrey, I want to say it was against Somerset at the Oval, and they needed about 200 to win off 20 overs, I think. And he and possibly Ollie Pope walked out for Surrey to open the batting, because I don't necessarily think Rory Burns and Dom Sibley were the two with the skill set kind of. Well, they didn't possess the skills to go at 10 and over for 20 overs. Is basically what I'm saying, because they just block the shit out of it, don't they? They don't get on with it. But yeah, Crawley's had his finger explode. So we naturally called the middle order batter Jordan Cox into the side to have a middle order batter in Dan Lawrence to go and open the innings with Ben Duckett, who probably when he started was actually more of a number 3 anyway. So do you ever get the impression that this England team, because I don't really, but like, do you ever feel that they just don't respect cricket all that much? Like, they've just kind of gone, yeah, screw it. Like, nobody in the Champo is actually scoring any runs at the top of the order anyway, so we'll just stick Dan Lawrence up there because he's fun. He's a nice bloke, and he's been around with us for a few months now, and he likes to whack it, so we'll just stick him up there. We'll give him a go there because he won't bat anywhere else. So let's just go for that. Like Alex Lees, they could have gone back to Alex Lees if they wanted an opener, maybe. But like, just to stick a number 5 up there.
Very much system disruptors, aren't they? This England team, this England management, they're not afraid to do it either. And do you know what? I feel like Dan Lawrence could actually like do an all right job up there. His record in first class cricket's been pretty good. He's probably been unlucky not to have had an opportunity in that middle order, but as we know, as you've just quite rightly mentioned, that middle order is pretty stacked when it comes to wealth of runs, you would probably say. So it'll be I mean, I can't imagine he's gonna bump Crawley out of the team when Crawley becomes back available. But it's nice to see him involved, and I hope that he can take his opportunity despite not necessarily being an opener. But now I've said that,
Yeah.
he'll probably get out first rock.
The thing is, he's going to get, unless he's absolutely hopeless, he's going to get 6 free hits, isn't he, against Sri Lanka, basically. Like, yeah, of course, he's going to want to do as best as what he possibly can do for himself. And then also, I guess, to make sure that if that opportunity pops up again, that he's going to be the next kind of, to use a horrible phrase, the cab off the rank to go into that side. Because ultimately, as you said, when Crawley comes back, he ain't going to be opening the batting. Zach Crawley's going to open the batting with Ben Duckett again. But could Dan Lawrence add more to his stock value by performing well against Sri Lanka? Equally as well, if he has 4 stinkers, they could just give Jordan Cox kind of chance to open the batting at the end of the summer. If you're not going to play Jordan Cox as well, is there much point bringing him into the team? Because he's another one that isn't just going to walk into that middle order. Like, no one's going to replace that middle, are they? No one's going to knock Brook out at number 5. No one's going to knock Root out at number 4. I suppose they could have gone a bowler light and they could have gone Cox at 6 and Smith at 7 and maybe gone that way round. But don't know. Feels like he could be carrying some drinks.
Yeah, it could, and I'm probably right in saying Essex probably won't be too happy about it on their championship charge for trying to pip Surrey, I'm sure. Seeing as, yeah, he's obviously had a brilliant year so far, hasn't he, in his first season at Essex? But hey ho, that remains to be seen. Someone's got to carry the drinks.
Have we? Yeah, we have. Sri Lanka have won the toss and chosen to bat first. Just to give you a heads up. Have we spoken about Chris Wokes on this podcast?
We spoke about him at the end of the West Indies series when we were kind of reviewing how the bowlers had gone and how he was obviously the most senior person almost left out there, taking over the baton from Jimmy, but actually one eye on the Ashes in a year and a bit's time. Is he going to be there? Probably.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm just checking. I'm just checking that we did cover that off because my point still stands. He's still going. That's good for him. Do you see Sri Lanka providing this England team with any more challenge than what the West Indies managed over the course of the 3 Test matches that we played earlier this summer? I will say, and I will go on record, I was really quite shocked that those games ended as quickly as what they did. I thought, and I genuinely, truly believed, I thought the West Indies were a better Test outfit than what we saw, particularly with the ball. And I thought well, I suppose they did kind of bowl England out relatively cheaply because the games were done inside 3 days, weren't they? Nobody really hung about. But I don't really think England were very good against the West Indies. I'd never looked at those Test scorecards or the bits that I watched and went, Christ, England are on fire here. Like, I just feel like the Sri Lanka series could be very similar. In that I don't think England are going to have to be brilliant to actually win.
Yeah, I think I would probably agree, and I'm sure prior to the beginning of the England men's Test summer, there would have been a lot of people that held that view as well, knowing that it was against, like, the Test series this year against West Indies and Sri Lanka. Where are Sri Lanka ranked in the old Test Championship? Do you know?
Oh, they're probably above us in the Test Championship.
Oh yeah, because we're toilet. I forgot about that. We're at the bottom.
They are 4th with 24 points from. Yeah, here you go. I'm not even going to try and explain this to you, but I'll let you try and figure it out. They've played 4 games. They've won 2, lost 2. They have 24 points, and they have a percentage of obviously 50 because they've played 4 and won 2 of them. England, on the other hand, are 7th, having played 13, won 6, lost 6, and drawn 1 with 57 points, but a percentage of 36.54. So England are categorically 3 teams worse than Sri Lanka at Test cricket.
Yeah, it's not easy to get your head around that Test Championship. I'll be perfectly honest with you, other than the fact that it seems as though the only thing that matters is the percentage of games that you win, but there's a very rare time when everyone would have played the same amount of games. So then it's like, how do you actually compare effectively? Is probably what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
No, you're right. I mean, England have played 13. Australia have played 12. So they're obviously the two big outliers there. India have played 9. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have played 4 tests each. Pakistan have played 5. It's not. I think it just again circles back around to the fact that Test cricket's really struggling. Have you seen as well the Pakistan? Is it Pakistan Bangladesh series? That was going to get played behind closed doors because they were just making construction. They were doing construction at the ground. Like, we're talking about the premier format of international cricket being played in Pakistan, and they were just going to go, "No, we'll just play it at a ground, and nobody can come in and watch it." Like that West Indies South Africa series as well. Nobody turned up. No one watched it.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? Really, it is less than ideal for the game. Hopefully there's a good turnout in Manchester this week.
Oh, there will be in the UK because we all like to turn up and get pissed for 5 days.
Yeah, that's very true. But on a global scale, when, like you say, you've got these Grand Cayman T10 Max 60 tournament malarkeys that are getting shown. I mean, not that there was many. I did flick it on for 10 minutes yesterday just to.
I didn't even know it was on TV, Joe.
Just to have a look. Yeah, that was where I was at. There was no one there. But the fact that like that's quite readily available to watch on TV or whatever is remarkable, really, considering people didn't even know that it's going on. And then you've got different test series played across the world that, just don't have the same kind of pull.
Maybe it's a topic for another day, but I genuinely I don't even know what can be done to help it. And I know that people love putting a report together. They love kind of analyzing things and putting reports together, but nothing seems to happen. And everybody's answer to it just seems to be a case of, well, we just need to give them money. It's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't, just because we give like the Bangladesh Cricket Board money doesn't suddenly incentivize like the population of Dhaka or Chittagong to turn out in numbers to go and watch Test cricket. Like, that's not how this works, lads. Yes, okay, fine. We might hand money away from the big 3 boards or something to the smaller boards so that they can financially run Test cricket for a bit longer as a loss lead than what they are able to at the minute. But none of that's going to suddenly kind of go to the people. We're still going to be playing cricket in empty stadiums, and we're still going to have those conversations about the fact that Test cricket's dying. Just all we've done is the fact that we've just pushed the receipt somewhere else for a bit longer. Like, none of it's going to suddenly go, oh, bloody hell. Well, the West Indies have just been given 100 million from Cricket Australia. I better get down to the ground in Trinidad and watch the test match. Like, that ain't going to work. And I don't know what they can do. Genuinely, I don't know what can be done to actually fix it.
As you say, it's one of those for the people in their offices in whatever country it is that these decisions get made in. But it's such a shame to see that, there's just not as much support for it as there once was, however many years ago, now that the game is so globalised and commercialised. Yeah. Which is obviously great in one sense, but it feels like almost the purist battle is being a little bit lost.
I think so. And it is a business at the end of the day. And if you're not making money doing something, why would you keep doing it? You're not going to exist for very long, are you? If you run that as your business model. And that's what I really don't understand when you listen to kind of executives from boards that haven't got test status at the moment. They go, oh, we're desperate for test status. Why? Give me one good reason why, other than because you might get a few more handouts from other people. But why would you do it? Because no one's going to turn up. No one watches 5 days of test cricket outside of the UK anyway, or Australia. So no one's going to turn up to watch a 3-match test series between the Netherlands and Ireland, are they? On the pool. And no. I know that sounds brutal.
No, it's right. It is a bit brutal, but it's absolutely correct. Like, if they're not going to watch West Indies, South Africa, or Pakistan, Bangladesh, who are quite well-established nations as it is. No one's going to go and watch Netherlands, USA, or whoever it is, you know?
No. Oh, well, that's depressing. Yeah, it looks like Sri Lanka have won the toss. They're going to bat first, and maybe I don't know, because what is it today? Wednesday. Because I mean, this would be a 3-day test match. It'll be over on Saturday, so we probably won't even be able to record anything on Saturday to review as to what's happened. So maybe we'll talk about it at some point next week. Who knows? Maybe if it lasts 5 days, Joe, we stand a chance. But I don't think there's much chance of this test match lasting 5 days, do you? It could piss down in Manchester. That would extend it slightly.
I mean, that would be very on brand for Manchester. But I can't remember the last time that England competed in a test match that lasted for 5 days, and I don't foresee it. No. So we shall see.
Get thrashed or be thrashed. That's the attitude.
Correct. Go well on Saturday if you get out there, and also on Monday. Lift
thanks very much.
Trophy. That will be more fun to review.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think Saturday the weather forecast looks terrible. So if it rains all over Sussex on Saturday, I still think mathematically we end up winning the league, which at the end of the day, you've done the hard work, I guess, and have the right to have that washed out. But hopefully not. Hopefully it'll just be a case of being played. But Monday looks good, and Monday will be good fun. Hopefully. Nervous about Monday, Joe. You know.
You got this, man.
I hope so.
The content's all out there for everyone to see. You've done it. First class ground, Northants.
True.
So.
True. Should be easy pickings then on Monday, shouldn't it? It's basically what you're saying. Right. Joe, thanks for chatting. It's been good. Hopefully this test match is decent. Again, if you've enjoyed the podcast, make sure you leave us a review on Spotify or Apple. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, anything like that, just to engage with us would be really good. There's an email, official@ourcricket@gmail.com if you want to send any questions through. And I think probably we need to have a bit of a conversation about what we might want to do for extra episodes and things like that, because obviously the winter's coming up and hopefully there might be a bit more time to do kinds of things. So, Joe, enjoy your week. Good luck when you get back to training. It probably isn't far away for Sunrisers to start again, is it? I guess you're possibly even playing next week.
Yeah, I'll be playing on Bank Holiday Monday, as will you. Yeah, home
double
game
wins
at Chelmsford against Diamonds. So yeah, back in
double
training
wins
tomorrow. Yeah,
go hopefully. Smash it.
Thanks, and you.
Cheers.